In Counter-Strike 2, you need to carry the dead weight of sad and pathetic people like this, or this, or even this. A woman! How outrageous is this? The average adult in North America weighs around 80 kilograms or 180 freedom units. This means that the CTs need to be strong enough to carry at least 280 freedom units or 128 kilograms around while still aiming a gun with a high level of accuracy. And I'm not so sure that this is actually feasible. But why in the first place were these hostages the unlucky ones that were chosen by the T side to keep around? Surely there must be a reason that they let everyone else in the office leave in an orderly fashion. After all, you would expect to see a lot more trash and things to have been thrown around in a panic as people fled for their lives. But they didn't. Maybe these hostages were set up by their co-workers who had just gotten sick of these specific people and wanted them taken care of. But probably not. But then again, how are we supposed to know? And why are these same hostages found in Italy? Is this map set in an alternate reality where instead of setting up these office workers up in the office, they were sent on a nice work trip together to Italy where they were then captured and held hostage? Surely, they can't possibly have been freed only to get kidnapped and held hostage a second time. Because if that is the case, maybe they actually do deserve to be held hostage, and maybe all these government agencies spending valuable time, money, and various other resources to save them is all a big waste. Another question I have is, why are they so still? Have they given up on life to the point where they no longer even try and breathe? Clearly this can't be the case because as soon as they are picked up by a CT, they can't stop making obnoxious breathing noises, almost as if they want their captives to hear where they're being taken. What if they are also in on the act and it's all a big prank to waste the government agents' time? Going back to the good old days when Global Offensive first launched, what we have is something special and unique. We've got beautiful, unique hostage models for both Office and Italy. Luckily, the office workers haven't been forced to change their clothes or put on a silly little jumpsuit, but they have been beaten pretty damn badly, as evident by the bruises on their face. The hostages in Italy, on the other hand, were not so lucky. Not only were they beaten badly, but their kidnappers also forced them to change clothes. I can't think of a fate worse than being dressed by someone else. Another question I have is, in Condition Zero, what's the deal with these poor, frightened mechanics being kidnapped everywhere they go? Why are they inside this office? Were they working on something in the garage before being kidnapped and marched into the office? Were they flown out to Italy by their kidnappers before being locked away in this house and forced to listen to this terrible opera singing? I will say, it is good to see them actually react to the situation as the round plays out though. They seem to be the most realistic people in the entire series, as if they're genuinely upset that their families might never see them again. But what about those hostages in CounterStrike Source, I hear you ask? Well, they're probably the worst hostages in the world. They are old. I mean, look at them, covered in wrinkles, just standing there. They don't react or have a single care in the world. They probably don't have anything to live for, and if I'm going to be honest, I doubt any of them are much value to the world except for one small detail. All of these hostages seem to be wearing a button-up work shirt for a company called DSB. It is possible that they are part of the Defense Science Board, which is a committee of civilian so-called experts that are meant to advise the US Department of Defense on scientific matters. This may explain why they all look like middle-aged scientists who are just enjoying the company of each other and some fresh air. Finally, when we go all the way back to Counter-Strike 1.6, we will find that on maps like Italy, we have a group of science-loving clones, and they've all been kidnapped and taken hostage. But on Office, we have clones of the office workers. Perhaps these clones weren't made before they were kidnapped. It is entirely possible that their kidnappers have managed to get their hands on technology that allows them to clone someone, and all they've done is taken one person hostage and clone them to try and get more money for their ransom. It's a smart play when you think about it. I'm surprised we haven't seen someone try it in real life yet. It may also explain why these hostages are absolutely soulless. Standing there, not breathing, not moving an inch. They don't flinch when you hurt them, and they don't let out a single noise. The only time they utter a word is when someone comes to save them, when they very calmly say something along the lines of,
Let's go.
It doesn't sound like something someone with a soul who is desperate to be saved would say. Maybe if these guys were younger and their hair wasn't grey, we'd actually see that they are, in fact, gingers, which would also explain the theory that they don't have a soul.